This week is the last week that you're going to be pulling your hair out and crying when your baby cries because they are having gas attacks. I'm going to give you some immediate tips and tricks that you can do to give your baby some relief and hopefully get you some sleep. If you're anything like me, then seeing your baby cry, hearing them cry, makes you want to cry too. And when they're uncomfortable and in pain and you feel like there's nothing you can do and you're postpartum, oh my God, it's like it's god awful. These gas episodes is like the last thing that we want to experience. I went through them. I was able to get Sky some relief, and now we're not having episodes anymore. So I just want to reassure you, you're doing a good job. You're trying to do the best that you can do. You found this video, right? So now let's go ahead, get you some methods that you can use and get you some sleep because God knows we need it. I'm not a medical professional, so this is not medical advice whatsoever, but I am a mom. And this is what I did that worked for me and worked for Sky. So I am happy to share these tips with you. If your kid is in the middle of a gas episode, right, I need you to do me a favor and you're going to head straight over to the store. You can go to Target, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, someplace like that, right? And you're going to grab these two items, right? If the store is closed, you're going to order these two items and have them shipped overnight, right? The link is in the description below. And if you're not in the middle of a gas episode, haven't experienced one yet, you're still going to order these two items. Click the link in the description below. We're going to get into it. This saved me while I was trying to figure out what was going on with Sky. The first one we're going to talk about is Mylicon. So this is actually like the only thing that you could find on the market that like pediatricians approve, doctors approve that say actually helps these gas episodes, right? And so for Mylicon, it's something that you're going to administer. It works best if you preemptively administer it, meaning that you're administering it because you're trying to prevent the gassiness from happening. Again, usually the gassiness happens at the same time every night or day, depending on what your kid is. But for me, it was at the same time every night. And that's essentially because the gas has built up to a point where now, like your child is heavily uncomfortable, right? So we're going to try to prevent this from even happening until we can figure out why it's happening in the first place. Like I said, formula babies, it might be the formula. And for breast milk, it usually is some type of food insensitivity, which is what it ended up being for me. But in the meantime, you can go ahead and go get you some Mylicon. And you can administer it. It says up to a certain amount. You can just read the description, right? Depending on the age of the kid. She was under 2 months. It was perfectly safe and fine. In fact, we ended up taking her to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician essentially said to try the Mylicon because they couldn't figure out why she was so gassy in the first place. So go ahead and try this. I tried it. It literally like it saved me until I could figure out what was actually going on with her. Um, and so I started doing it and I administered it like first thing when she woke up in the morning. And then I waited like 3 hours because I knew it wasn't going to hit until like a certain amount later on in the day. So I was just trying to prevent the gas from stacking up. Another issue she was having is that she wasn't burping after I fed her, which is a big no-no. So if your child isn't burping after a feed, right, you're having struggles with that. And mind you, I'm going to give you some methods on burping. Check out that other video that I have on the channel about how to burp your kid. It'll prevent a lot of these gas issues from happening in the first place, right? So if your child isn't burping, then the gas could build up at some point. And for me, it was usually around, I'm gonna say in between the hours of 9 and 11, right? And when I tell you she would let it rip, she would just be crying, and it seemed like unconsolably crying, and there was nothing that I could do until I found some of these methods I'm going to teach you. So anyway, I gave it to her about every 3 hours, until it got closer to that 9 p.m. And right around, I'm gonna say 7 p.m., I started giving her the amount that's on the label every hour, right? And towards the end of these gas episodes, it really started preventing these gas attacks from happening in the first place. So this is something you want to implement right away. The other product is called gripe water, and there's various brands, but I have a brand that you could check out and you can use. For me, this didn't really get rid of the gas episodes. However, it would temporarily provide some immediate relief. And sometimes that's all you want to do for your kid is just provide a sense of relief from them crying and screaming, and just catch your breath, bro. Because, like, it could get bad. It could get really, really bad. Just catch your breath. And so, for this, my instructions was to administer it either on the nipple, or use your finger and have them suck it off of your finger, right? And pretty instantly, she would get a sense of relief. But for me, it was short lived. It was maybe 10, 15 seconds. And that was because of what was happening in her gas episodes, like why it was causing her to have these gas attacks later at night. What I soon discovered was having food insensitivity, meaning that there was something that I was eating because she's 100% breastfed that was passing through her that she wasn't reacting well to. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you are right into the thick of it. They are falling out, and it is a headache, and you want to cry too. So, the first thing you need to do is just to be able to provide a sense of relief. So, I'm going to give you some exercises that you can do with the baby to do that. Mind you, there's different types of gases, right? So it could be the baby needs to burp. Burping the baby is going to give a sense of relief, and then that's going to be it, right? Because there's it's just trapped air in there. It could be stomach gas, like farts, right? They could need to poop. It's all various. So I have multiple methods that you can try to do this. Quick story time. I remember one of these nights, gas episode, it was going on. We were cracking like 2 hours, right? And I kept working the different methods. Like I said, I didn't know about the food insensitivity at the time, but I was just trying to relieve her, and I kept working the methods. I went from trying to burp her to try to help her to fart, and I remember it had to be almost 3 o'clock in the morning at this point, and she let out this huge burp, right? Because she was on me, similar to this. She let out this huge burp, and then she literally just it was like almost like she passed out. She just went to sleep after that, and that was it. And so hopefully one of these methods, something that you can try that's going to help you get through the night tonight, because that's what I'm here to do. We're going to start with the easy stuff. We're going to start with burping the baby. If you don't know how to burp the baby, you essentially put the baby over your shoulder. But I like to put stomach on the shoulder if possible, right? Give them a nice firm pat, not a pat like you trying to, assess the whooping, which I don't do, nor do I believe in, by the way. But not soft enough to where it feels like a massage. So somewhere in between that, right? And you keep patting until they do a wind burp. Now, Sky here, she would burp, but she would keep her mouth closed. So it would dang near be ineffective. And then the gas would go right back. And that was painful. And you have to regroup. So hopefully your baby has burps with the mouth open. If you're able to get wind burps out like that and they're still having gas episodes, then you know that that is not going to relieve the issue. The whole thing with this is really just eliminating. You want to try to eliminate. So go through all these methods, see what you can eliminate. Next method I'm going to show you is bump on a log. Bump on a log is where you sit the baby on your lap, right? You lean them forward like they're hanging over a log, and then you give them that same pat in the back until they burp. Okay, the last one I'm going to give you is this new method that my mom actually taught me. And I call it the Lion King. That's because when you raise the kid up in the air, you go, ah, Jabanya, Baba Ziba Jabanya. Yeah, that part. So you do bump on a log, but instead of patting, you're actually going to rub on the back. So you're going to start at the top, right? And work your way down firmly, and then raise up. Then you're going to go back, put them down. You're going to do the middle, right? Then raise them up, and then you're going to go down to the lower part where you're going to rub, and then you're going to raise them up again, right? And you're going to keep doing that until they burp. Usually they let out a really good burp with that. So hopefully that relieves. If the burps stop the crying, then you know that they just got burp stuck, and so you just gonna have to burp them out. Don't let them fall asleep, like how she is completely knocked out right now. And make sure they burp before they go to sleep. Otherwise, based off of how many naps they have throughout the day, that gas is going to build up, and it's going to be a pain for you in the nighttime, and we don't want that. We don't want that. All right, now it is time to relieve a stink or two, aka a fart, right? I know, funny. Yeah, I know. I crack it up. Anyway, so time to do the stinky toots. Now, next method, I'm sure you've probably seen it on TikTok or Instagram. It's the bicycle kicks, and so you literally just move their legs in a bicycle fashion. And yeah, I've done it. It's worked a couple times for me, but I'll be honest, it's not usually the method that works the best if I'm trying to get her to relieve some gas down there. But if it works for you, we like it, we love it. We're just trying to get it done. We're trying to make it through the night, right? The second method I like to call is just really just like up downs. So you just take their legs, you go down, and then you go up, you go down, and then you go up. And you're trying to leave it there for like a second or so when you do that. And you just go down, you go up, you go down, you go up. Um, and that has worked for me quite often. And then the next method I call roly polies, right? And so you're just putting their legs up, their hands down. You're holding at the same time, and then you're rolling them. You're rocking them from side to side. What that really is doing is just kind of crunching, right? And then this movement, the movement that they do is really what's going to relieve the gas. And so oftentimes you'll see these last two is like a combo. What you really could just do is just move them. You want their lower body to just be moving, and you're trying to essentially shake up the gas so then it gets forced out one way or another. Either it's going to get forced out in a burp or in a stinky toot. And you want them to move, right? Whether it's the top body or the bottom portion of their body. You'll see lots of other methods that people come up with online as well. But I'm giving you the stuff that has worked for me and has relieved them. So you make it through all of these methods. You burp them. You got a burp out. You did a stinkatooth. You got stinkatooths out, and they are still going at it. And you checked off the box, right? If their formula, you've already tried to switch their formula. Okay, well, all right, if they're breastfed, the next step for you, though, is going to be what I did, which is figuring out, is there some type of food insensitivity that's going on? Know that when you eat something, right, it's technically all the nutrients is getting passed through them. So it's like a secondary, they're getting it in a secondary experience, right? And so what I ended up finding out is that Sky has a chicken insensitivity, which is wild in itself to think about how much chicken that I eat in my lifetime, and like it's like my favorite food, and now I may or may not be able to even experience that with my daughters. Kind of horrible. I don't like it, but hey, here we are. Here we are, folks. So chicken insensitivity. And how I figured that out is because I remember during my pregnancy, I was just like, I couldn't hold down any chicken at all. That was what I was sick with. My morning sickness or like things that I couldn't hold down was chicken. And so I ended up pretty much only having like ground turkey and like cooked fish throughout my entire pregnancy. Because that was the only thing I could hold down. So one day she's having these gas episodes or whatever. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I wonder if it's something that I'm eating, right? And I have been having a whole bunch of different types of food because when you get out of the hospital, you want to eat. That's what you for sure want to do. You want to have some sushi. You want to have everything, right? So what I needed to do next was I needed to do what I call an elimination diet. Is where for a few days you try one types of food and see how she responds to it, and then you try another type of food and see how they respond to it. So because I was mixing, like one meal morning would be chicken, another would be fish, another would be that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to do an elimination diet. Because I couldn't hold down chicken during pregnancy, the first thing I said I was going to eliminate was going to be chicken, because I'm like, maybe it's just like, maybe it's some fluke thing, right? And so I eliminated the chicken, and literally within 48 hours, no more gas. I didn't have to use Mylicon, didn't have to use gripe water, didn't have to use any of that. Her gas episodes had completely just disappeared. And so I would say, if you've tried all these methods, they don't relieve anything, and she's cracking, she already is cracking towards like the seventh or eight week mark, then the next thing you need to do is to do that elimination diet. Try to eliminate some foods, solo them, eat them only for 24 hours, and then see, once they pass through the baby, like how it does. As with anything, go see a pediatrician. If you're actually concerned, trust your mama and parent instincts, and consult with your pediatrician, and get advice from them on what it is that you should do. I started this channel because I wanted to help moms make it through the day, and parents in general make it through the day. So everything that we do on this channel is really going to be thematically in that same vein. I know what it feels like to have late nights. I'm still having them. I know what it feels like to try to juggle. I'm still doing that, clearly. And I know what it feels like to have dreams and ambitions, and it seems like there's a fork, and a beautiful blessing fork that happens with a child that throws it in the road, and we're just trying to navigate it all. And um oh, cutie. We're trying to navigate it all, and you know, make the best possible lives for our children, and still chase our dreams too. So that's what this channel is about. That's what the mama mindset is being able to do both. You can't have it all at once, but you can have it all at some point. And so hopefully I can help you all do the same. Do me a favor, please hit the like button, sub button, bell button. Let me know what other tips and tricks that you want in the comments below.